Ladies and gentlemen, the microphone is about to witness a voice of truth and a voice of logic.
I call it like I said.
This is Durr's news, views, and opinions from the bottom.
No peace! No justice! No peace!
Now, coming to the mic, OneDurr.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm staring at my son's honor roll certificate on my desk. I love this boy. My son he's the video game type versus the gangbang type. I just have a question. Would you rather your child be game-minded, G-A-M-E, or gang-minded, G-A-N-G? Who's going to be the next black boy to fly? Words of Kendrick Lamar. I want to play for you real quick a snippet of one of my songs in which I have my son say a few words on. As I stated in my last broadcasting, I also do hip-hop. I try my best to indoctrinate versus destroy. So let's get into this brief snippet.
I don't wanna die by a friend who live in the same skin, cause he's lost in uncovered lies. I wanna be free.
I don't understand the system yet, but I told my father to never go to jail again because a child needs its father.
What are you teaching your child, ladies and gentlemen? What are you teaching your children? Does your child understand his community, his or her community? Does your child understand the fight of his or her future? Will the welfare lines continue to grow generation after generation? Ladies and gentlemen, I am also in the process of writing a book. It's called Defying Gravity, Breaking Ideologies, Fleeing Political Manipulation, and Searching for God. If you will allow me, I would like to just read a quick paragraph for you. I sit here at my laptop fumbling with what I should say. You see, being African American, I'm part of a very sensitive culture in which any defiance to the methodologies of being black could cause one to be ridiculed tremendously and called a traitor. Therefore, most dare not to speak out about the truths of black dormancy and what hinders our progression due to being disowned or defamed. I am a man who acknowledges that if you want to correct something, you must apply mechanics to every variable of the flaw. What I find is that we as blacks ignore our self-created flaws and transmit 100% blame on our current 100% blame of our current failures on racism. So here's the big question. What if every component of racism and hatred towards blacks were to see its absolute abolishment? That includes not only the physical aspects, but the mental as well. What errors would there be left for the black man or woman to correct? For those of us who can manifest honesty, the answer is plenty. So once again, if you want to correct something, we must apply mechanics to every variable of the flaw. That's just a paragraph from the book that I'm writing entitled Defying Gravity. But what do I mean by that? What do I mean by we must apply mechanics to every variable of the flaw? What I'm saying is we have to stop dwelling and running with the notion that racism is the absolute problems of the blacks. Of course, it is a huge contributor, but we also have our own self-created flaws. And until we apply mechanics to our self-created flaws, we will always be unable to even approach the battlefield of the opposition. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you following me? Like, I am not mitigating the existence of racism. That is not what I'm doing. What I want the listener to do is focus on self for just 1 second. Look in the mirror and say, what is wrong with self? What areas of self do I need to apply mechanics so that I am prepared to fight the fight? What are we teaching our children? What do we applaud our children for? Which direction are we pushing our children in? Would you rather your child have a game mind, G-A-M-E, or a gang mind, G-A-N-G?
OneDurr.
A voice in the mist, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I am. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A voice in the mist is merely what I am. Who's going to be the next catalyst of change, ladies and gentlemen? Look around. Let's all look around. Start what you're doing and look around. Who's going to be the next catalyst of change? What is a small voice like mine? Because my voice doesn't have any impact right now. But a small voice like mine is like a subconscious. I'm like a whisper, quietly reminding people that they have dominion over themselves, ladies and gentlemen. Quietly reminding people that they have dominion over themselves. And to be controlled by anything else other than themselves. Things like governments, friends, materials, ideologies, is to be vulnerable to manipulation, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to open your minds and ears up for me. Is the welfare lines going to get longer, generation after generation? What are we teaching our kids? Sometimes I wonder if gravity itself is the enemy, ladies and gentlemen. But who's going to defy that enemy? Who's going to be the next black boy to fly? The red light on this mic is telling me to continue, ladies and gentlemen. I said the red light on this mic is telling me to continue, but the opposition is telling me to stop. Are we gladiators, ladies and gentlemen? Are we gladiators? Does the crowd around us say, or is the crowd actually silent? Because we trap ourselves within a circle, within a bubble, that there is no true audience. Are we gladiators, ladies and gentlemen? Are we gestures for the king? Do we dance for the king, ladies and gentlemen? Or do we have the tools to become the king? What are we? What is a black man? What is a black woman? What are we? What power do we possess, ladies and gentlemen? Because we possess a power. It may appear to be vague and visionless, like the blind, but ladies and gentlemen, we are powerful. There was a time in the existence of this earth that the black man and woman tapped into their power, tapped into their potential. Something happened, ladies and gentlemen, something happened. But to know that that power, that potential, that limitless energy exists, we just need someone to come along and be the catalyst of change. Who's going to be the catalyst of change, ladies and gentlemen? Will change come about, or will the welfare lines become longer and longer? What are we teaching our kids? At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take me a quick break and take a sip of my favorite beverage, Starbucks coffee, and that is not an advertisement.
OneDurr.
Flying high in the friendly skies. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, OneDurr. Flying high in the friendly skies, defying gravity. Book coming out soon, Defying Gravity, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever closed your eyes and the count of 5 went to 4, 4 went to 3, 3 went to 2, and 2 went to 1, and the mind took off? Fascinating process to free the mind, ladies and gentlemen. We must embark on this journey to free the mind. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have two fascinating interviews. I'm going to always try to bring you two fascinating interviews that are very important and essential to today's existence. So today we have first interview is going to be with a young man by the name of Troy. We're going to be discussing gay rights in America. That is a huge issue right now in America, gay rights. A little bit later, we're going to be interviewing with Mark Herring. He's an electrical journeyman. We're going to be discussing vocational schools versus college. Flying high in the friendly skies, ladies and gentlemen, releasing the mind, uncaging the mind, allowing the mind to be a passenger on the pigeon's wing. That's what this show is all about. Conversation leads to consensus, ladies and gentlemen. Conversation leads to consensus. And the red light on this mic tells me to continue, because conversations leads to consensus. Not all the time. It may not be instant, but in the long run, conversations leads to consensus. We have to have these conversations, ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, let's play my first interview. As I stated, his name is Troy, and we're about to discuss gay rights. All right, we're going to dive right into it, man. First question. It's been reported that Australia just legalized same-sex marriage, but so did the U.S. in 2015. So being a black man in America, there are still places in this country where I can't go without being disliked. So in my personal opinion, equality is not advancing as rapid as it's being polarized, in my personal opinion. So here's the question. Obama pushed the gay rights agenda and was successful at it. But there's still places in this country outside of liberal areas that don't accept the gay lifestyle. Being a Caucasian male, does being gay make you feel like a minority in a country in which you are actually the majority?
So I would say, obviously my race makes me a majority, like you said, but I wouldn't say until recently I didn't feel like a minority until, I feel like minorities always have something to fear.
All right.
Is one part being a minority. Like there's another race that you always have to look out for. Like, for example, my issue was I was outside of a club and I was just holding hands with another guy and someone just said some very vulgar things. And it's like, even before that, though, I always felt uncomfortable doing that, especially where I grew up in a non-liberal area. Like, I would never feel comfortable holding someone else's hand. But, like, in the city, where it's a little more liberal, it's easier, but still, like, I'm constantly worried about what other people are going to say or do when I'm out in public. I feel like that part definitely makes me feel like a minority.
All right, makes
as far as like workplace and stuff like that, I don't feel like it's an issue.
All right, that makes sense, brother. So the latest news pertaining to gay rights is a Colorado baker versus a gay couple in which the baker refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding. The baker claims this infringes on his First Amendment rights and goes against his religious beliefs. Whichever direction the Supreme Court rules, someone is going to lose. So one side will gloat in victory and one side will crumble in defeat. The ruling in this case will further division, however you look at it. That's my opinion. How does this case make you feel? And do you think America will always be a battleground for identity wars?
Yeah, I do. I do think it will always be battleground because there's always going to be people that oppose other people's lifestyles. So I don't think the cake thing is more so a religion thing, or it's not a religion thing. I think it's more so of a sexual orientation thing, which is defined in discrimination. So I feel like in a way they're trying to redefine discrimination, which I don't agree with. I see the point. I get the point.
Yeah, but I mean, he's arguing that it is against his religious belief, which is originally the marriage institution between male and female.
Right. So where does that end though? So if someone that's Jewish shows up at his shop and wants him to make a cake for a bar mitzvah or a bar mitzvah, he's allowed to say no now? Or is he just singling out one specific group, being gay couples? Because if he's a Christian, he believes in Jesus, Jews don't believe in Jesus. That's going against his religious values. So why doesn't he have a problem with that? Why is he focused on this one group of people? And that is discrimination.
I hear you, brother. All right, man. So carriage is measured on many scales. There's many ways people commit courageous acts. In your personal case, was it easy for you to freely say to the world, to your parents and all, that you were gay, or was it an act of courage, in your opinion?
I think in my case, it was an act of courage toward the end of it. So the way my story went is, I slowly came out to friends, and family were kind of like the last part that I came out to. I didn't really want to, because even though I didn't grow up on religion or anything, my parents, I'm very close to my parents, and I hear all these stories about people coming out and their parents just disowning them. And that, I think, terrified me. So in my case, it was just, all my friends knew that I was gay, and somehow it trickled down. My parents got wind of it, so they started questioning my friends.
Yeah.
And then once I found out my friends pretty much had to lie for me and made them feel uncomfortable, I literally made like that decision, split decision, like right then and there to come out to my parents regardless of what the results would be, because that was terrible to put my friends in that situation for me in the first place. So yeah, I do feel like it was a courageous act on my part, because I didn't want my friends to lie for me, and I knew it made them feel uncomfortable, and I didn't want them to go through that anymore. Like, it was I don't want to call it a lie, but it was my thing. Like, it's not their thing. They shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable about it or anything.
So how does it feel now? Does it feel like a burden was removed? Like, do you feel like freer?
Oh yeah. Like, I was a really heavy, I was like 80 pounds heavier at the time, and it was after that, I literally like lost so much weight, like it was literally like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Due to depression?
What's that?
You said you lost weight. I was like, was that due to depression or stress?
Yeah, I think so. I think part of it was not being who I could truly be out in public and around family and everything. Definitely, there was a period of time where I was depressed and stressed when I was in college, when I wasn't out. Yeah, so it did affect me in that way.
All right, man. The battle continues in America, man. Is there anything that you want to say to those who still frown upon gay rights?
Yeah, I mean, I just want everyone to have equal rights. I mean, it's not about redefining things. It's not about redefining marriage. Like, yes, you want to say marriage between a man and a woman, but in the eyes of the law, like, we just want the same rights as everyone. It doesn't matter if it's him or her. It's a matter of treating everyone equally.
I appreciate you, brother. I feel like we're fighting for the same thing in this country. All right, Troy, I want to thank you for participating in the conversation, brother. Having a conversation,
I think so.
Absolutely, man. Having a conversation is the only way to bring the opposing sides to a consensus, man. So,
yeah, I agree.
All right, brother. Enjoy your day, man.
All right, thank you, Donna.
All right. I want to thank Troy for that interview. Conversations leads to consensus, ladies and gentlemen. He that does not understand that the next man is as important as he is ignorant to existence. whoever created me created you. To say that I'm perfect and you're not is to not fully understand the artistry of the Creator. Whether you believe in God or not, we have to agree on the notion that something created us. Ladies and gentlemen, something created us. Not you, not me, but us. To say that I or you is a flaw is to humanize the Creator of us, because only humans make mistakes. Whoever created us makes no mistakes, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, in a sense, I am you and you are I. I am just either darker, lighter, or I'm embarking on a different life path of ideas than you. I may disagree with you, but free will is what we should be using as a tool for consensus. The conversation continues.
OneDurr.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, OneDurr. Let's get into this second interview. Mark Herring, vocational schools versus college. Basically, in recent America, what I noticed is the increase in the polarization of college versus trade. So I just got a few questions in that category. So the first question is, why do you think college is pushed more after high school than trade? But before you answer, here's a few stats. According to a Pew Research study, the most recent program for international students assessment results from 2015 placed the U.S. at an unimpressive 38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. So with numbers like that, the way America pushed college, you would think that those numbers would be tremendously different, meaning like more so in our favor, better than other countries. So why do you think America continue to push college more than trade?
Well, I think they continue to push college. It's a mindset. You understand? So that was always the part of the American dream. You know what I'm saying? You finish high school, you get a higher education, you can make more money. But because the United States doesn't really invest in education, particularly Republicans like the ones we have in office now, trade is a better option. More so,
So you kind of like touched on my next question, because I was going to say college is not for everyone. And for those that may think college is the only route to a good paying job, can you just touch a little bit on the scale of pay in trade work from like the lowest to the highest?
Well, it really depends. It depends on what trade you go into. What do you like? From my experience, the lower paying trades are painting, carpentry, and laborer. Laborer, well, you have two sides of labor. You got an unskilled labor and then you have a skilled labor. Yeah. That means, skilled labor, he'll demand a little bit more money because he has experience doing some things, not as much as in the trade per se, but he can do some things. The highest trade that I know of would be elevator, escalator, and this is not a trade, but it is part of the construction field. Crane operator. It takes a special individual to climb up 400-500 feet, sit up in the air all day, and operate a crane.
But pursuing trade, the pay is somewhat equivalent to someone that pursued college, correct?
Yeah, because with the trade, you can do that on the job, and then that's a side hustle. That's extra money if you want it. Everything you do in the trade, from buying your work boots to your work clothes to your tools, that's gonna make you money. In the business world, buying clothes, all that is you looking a part of a job. My trade, electrical, I can easily make 6 figures a year. Trade ain't for everybody. I mean, if you don't like to sit down and look at a computer all day, trade is for you. If you want to meet new and different people every day, all day, trade is for you. If you like working with your hands and you're mechanically inclined, trade is for you. The money may not be great when you start out. I'm union, but I've been non-union too, so the non-union pays a little bit less. Union, you get top dollar wherever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So right now, I my salary competes with mid-level management, and I'm not spending as much money, say, to look the part of mid-level management. Mid-level management can't go out this weekend and make $6, $10, $15, $20, $50,000 on the side. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that you stuck that way. So if you're a go-getter, if you're a real go-getter and you don't really want to be behind the desk, trade is the best option for you.
All right. In the decades following the Civil War, the United States emerged as an industrial giant. Old industries expanded in many new ones, including petroleum refining, steel manufacturing, and electrical power, which is the field that you're in. Industrial growth transformed American society. It produced a new class of wealthy industrialists and a prosperous middle class. Now, I heard you mention Donald Trump earlier. Do you think that Trump's quote-unquote bring back the industrial America ideology will work in modern day America, where technology and academics take precedence over trades and blue collar work?
It will, because even though the trade in the new millennium, you can't be, lackadaisical with your math and science.
All right.
You have to be on point with your math and science. But you can get by. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and then with the new technologies, kids looking at on their phone all the time or whatever. Y'all are the future. I'm considered a dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I have to learn what comes natural to you guys. You know what I'm saying? The younger generation. So my field is changing, ever changing. And technology plays a part in it. Whether Trump can bring industrialism back to the forefront of America is really, I don't know if he can. But our country is moving forward in that process anyway. Because of global warming, we're now having to experience come up with new ways of trying to find energy. Yeah. So in that, you still have to have the application.
So this is the thing, though. A lot of African Americans dislike Trump, but most of the jobs that underprivileged African Americans can get will more so likely be in the fields of like trade and things of that nature. So though his rhetoric is toxic, like people, whether the African American community think he is toxic, does that compare to, I'm trying to think of a good question here, because if the guy brings jobs and African American employment goes up, like, how should he be assessed by the African American community?
Well, that's twofold, because I survived that depression, the current depression, he is not. Jobs are available because he's in office now.
Yeah.
These jobs were on the table 10, 12 years ago when Republicans were still in office under a different leader. When Obama came in office, he said, people understand this. It's going to take almost 10, 12 years to dig us out of the mess that our former president put us in. There was work, but it wasn't a lot of work.
Yeah.
So on the heels of Obama, Trump looks like he's doing, he's done something.
So his success is basically a trickle effect of Obama, is what you're saying.
It's a downpour of over Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing with trade. Anywhere in the United States of America, continental, islands, properties, even across seas, if you have a skill, you can find work. Are you willing to chase that work? So these are decisions you have to make for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How you gonna feed your family? Unions, I would suggest anybody if they go into trade, if you're gonna do it, be union. Be union. You don't have to bother about your salary. You whatever territory or jurisdiction you working in, you get top dollar. The highest paid there. And people hate. They say, well, you're a prima donna. No, I pay the price.
Yeah.
Union, your education, you're going to have to go to school. You're going to have to go to school and you're going to have to perform. Because we ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? Time is money.
Yeah.
So they take the best candidates that applying to trade schools. They train them. They want the sharpest, innovative minds. And those minds push the envelope. So, if you, like I said, now's a good time. Now's a great time. We've been through the lean years.
Yeah.
Now it's fast. The fast is over. We're eating, and we're eating good.
All right, Mark, man, I thank you. I appreciate it, man. Once again, this is Mark Heron. We was discussing vocational schools versus college. Conversations leads to consensus, ladies and gentlemen. That was my second interview. Conversations leads to consensus. When my nostrils spread wide, ladies and gentlemen, like yours, and I inhale the air, then exhale carbon dioxide back into it, I'm reminded that I'm human, ladies and gentlemen. I cringe at what we as humans use as classifiers of self. Follow me, ladies and gentlemen. Things like money, cars, and clothes don't make me more human, nor you, than the next. To be human is to gather a handful of land particles into your palm and watching the wind blow it from your hand, making the dirt spiral from hand to air, mimicking a small tornado. Then witnessing a bird pivot that tornado while flying south. Does man even understand their connection to earth anymore? How is man conceived these days? Are we born soulless and live heartless, and upon our demise die brainless? What I noticed lately is that my thinking, ladies and gentlemen, my thinking isolates me, leaving my nearest neighbor acres away. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the center of a wheat field, and up ahead a great distance, there's a figure shape that resembles a woman. This figure, ladies and gentlemen, it appears to have long hair masking her face due to mild winds. Her long cloth dress ricochets off of her ankles each time the wind visits them. Each day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting closer and closer to that figure. so close that I can now process that figure is actually liberty, ladies and gentlemen. My own freedom. That is why my pursuit appears to be so lonesome. It's because I'm on a journey to find freedom of self. What I find is that people are afraid to defy what is currently classified as the norm. But that's examples of systematic thinking. So if no one hears this podcast or dare to press play, it doesn't matter, because the red light on this mic tells me to continue.
OneDurr.